Hey guys, it's Victoria and welcome back to FemmeHead. Today I want to talk about kind of going about finding a balance between work and travel. Ever since going full-time with FemmeHead, I've been so lucky to travel as much as we have because everything I do, control a lot of it from like my computer, a camera, and the internet. I have so much flexibility in where I can work from, and because Michael travels not quite as much as anymore, but he still travels quite a bit for like work, and then we just have kind of like our fun vacations that we go on. We can just kind of work from anywhere, both of us, especially in his off season when he doesn't have events he's putting on. So it just really allows a lot of freedom for a lot of fun things. But I have definitely over the years had to work on how I handle the balance between getting my work done while still enjoying vacation and not kind of slacking on either or. But there's some things that I've learned that really help in the lead up, and one of those is planning ahead. For both of my month-long trips to Sri Lanka last year and to Bali the year before that, I did everything in my power to get all of my content filmed, written, edited, and scheduled before we even got on that plane. You're not quite sure, especially with certain places you're traveling, if you'll have internet connection or how good that internet connection is going to be, and if you're going to be able to upload, or if you're going to have time to film, or if you're going to ruin your camera on the way to Sri Lanka. All those things have happened. So I found that it's just really great to do as much of it as you can beforehand, because that's just going to set you up for all sorts of goodness. This also opens you up to work on different tasks and projects that you've maybe been wanting to get around to, but just haven't been able to find the time for because you've been focused on your main projects and tasks and everything. So if you have it all scheduled ahead of time, and then when you are there and you do have time to work, you are free to dig into something new or work on something older that you've been really meaning to get to in a while. And this was one of my goals while I was in Sri Lanka. I had done all of my content ahead of time so I could have those 3 weeks to work on a new course that I wanted to create, but then that didn't happen because I ruined my computer. So I schedule everything I can beforehand. Another great thing to do leading up to a trip or when you leave for a trip is to set an out of office on your email. I don't always do this, but if I'm not quite sure if I'm going to have internet connection, and I make sure that I have a standard email that's going to go out that's like, I'm not ignoring you, I'll get back to you as soon as I get to internet, I'm in such and such place. Some people are really good at writing funny out of office emails. I'm not so great at it. And then when I do have an internet connection in a couple minutes, I will kind of check in on my email. And then once we do get to our said location, Michael and I have found a really good compromise, cohesive balance between not only the two of us, but our work and adventure, finding a balance between those two. And so how it usually goes, and this kind of varies, but if it's just us traveling together, me and Michael, we usually start our day and we go and find a coffee shop and we'll work there for a couple hours, and then we'll go have lunch and either finish up a couple tasks that we still need to get done that day, or we would just leave right away for whatever adventure we are going on. And usually, like in Phoenix, for example, we went on so many hikes, and so the afternoon was usually going on a nice little hike. It's slightly different when we're traveling with friends because not all of your friends have the same work lifestyle as you do, and maybe they're just taking time off work to go on this trip, and so you want to respect their time off. So there's definitely kind of a different balance, not as set hours to work. It's usually just more of like squeezing an hour in the morning while everyone's kind of getting together, having a cup of coffee, and then maybe an hour or two at night or in the afternoon when people are taking naps or stuff like that. Another important thing I think for not just work while on vacation, but just work in general, is learning to separate the most important must-do tasks for the day versus kind of the mundane work things aren't make or break things for that day. And email is a great example because obviously you have very important emails that come in that need to get responded to, or people are going to be upset, or you're going to miss out on opportunities, things like that. So being able to go through your email in the mindset of, okay, only respond to the most important email. So I'll go through and I'll quickly click into email to see if it is important and time sensitive. And if it is, I will take the time to respond to it or deal with it. Say someone's writing in and asking a question about something, and it doesn't have to be answered then and there, and it can be answered, when I do have time or when I'm back home. I will just mark that email as unread and move on to the next one. And you can quickly just like filter out your emails pretty quickly and go through them. You can spend hours and hours and hours going through emails, different tasks like that, where it's not the most important thing. It just kind of fills up times. When you don't have a lot of time or you don't want to spend a lot of time working, it's really good to really focus in on, okay, what are the most important task right now. Also, if the internet goes out or your computer breaks, people are just going to have to understand. If you can get to internet or use your phone or something to put up an out of office to be like, hey, you know, broke my laptop, don't expect anything from me, I'm going to be getting back at said date and take care of things then, like, no, I'm not ignoring you. The world goes on. My philosophy is make plenty of time for sunshine and adventures while you're on trips, but there's no harm in doing a little bit of work too, especially if it's something you enjoy, and especially if you work for yourself. Like, you just kind of gotta squeeze that time in. And it's different if you get like one big trip a year. I think if we only went on one trip a year, I would just block out that time to nothing but adventure and travel and vacation. But because we take like mini trips, or we take, you know, a couple different vacation style trips throughout the year, you have to learn how to intersperse work with fun, because if I just didn't work every time I was not in Des Moines, I would never get anything done. And that's kind of what I have to say about all this. We're going on another little trip to the East Coast and Guadeloupe in a couple weeks. This is definitely all going to be implemented for that trip. I'm already thinking ahead. I'm already trying to get ahead on content. That's where I'm at. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. I enjoy it. I like getting into people's brains and understanding how they do things, different programs or systems or methods they use to be as efficient as possible. So if you have any tips or tricks or programs or methods or anything, I've really been diving deep into those. Like, I just discovered Google Calendars. Don't ask me how. Like, I knew it was a thing. I knew it existed, but for some reason I thought Google Calendars and the calendar on like Apple, like the Apple calendar, was the same thing. It's not. I don't like the Apple calendar. It would not sync between my computers and my phone, mostly because my phone's a piece of crap. But Google Calendars does, and I love that you can color coordinate everything. It's just great. And I've started block scheduling stuff. So I'm really into this whole world of being as efficient and productive as possible. So if you have anything that's been revolutionary for you, just share that down below. Don't forget to subscribe to FemmeHead for more of moi, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!